Hi everyone, welcome again to Bake Your Way Kitchen. Today we're doing a new episode, of course. I'm going to be making a chocolate mousse, and to be more specific, a chocolate peppermint mousse. However, I will show you different variations you can do. I will explain later on if you don't want to do peppermint. You could do a coffee, like a mocha, or you could do an orange. So there's different variations you can do. Today I'm doing peppermint. I know I love to do peppermint. Anyway, we'll go right in and get started. The first thing you'll need is a double boiler, or just a saucepan and a glass bowl that can go over simmering water. Make sure that the water does not touch the bowl, otherwise the chocolate will scorch. You're going to need half a pound, sorry, of chopped chocolate. Now in this case I'm actually using milk chocolate. And that's all I had on hand, but you could use Bittersweet. Actually, I would recommend Bittersweet. Usually dark chocolate's very good for this, but milk chocolate is too. However, if you do use milk chocolate, I would cut back a little bit on the sugar, and I'll explain a little bit about that later on. So we got our chocolate in 1/3 cup of boiling water, which I just boiled. Now I'm going to bring this over to the stove, and we're going to wait till the chocolate melts. So while our chocolate is melting, and it shouldn't be too long because we already put 1/3 cup of boiling water in with the chocolate, we can get started on the rest. Now, I got my stand mixer out because anytime I need to beat with eggs for a period of time, I just can't do it by hand. So I would recommend using a stand mixer if you have one. If not, you can use a hand mixer. You're going to need 5 egg yolks, and you're going to want to put them in. And you will need the egg whites. I've got the egg whites here. We're going to be using them in a little bit. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I would really recommend just picking up $1 or $2 egg separator. It saves you a lot of time. It saves you from accidentally breaking one and wasting an egg. It just makes things right. So we're going to beat this for several minutes until it's kind of got a nice, kind of a lemony pale color, and I'll show you what that looks like. Whoops. So this is what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. It's got a nice lemony pale type of color. That's what you want. So you can set that aside. I have taken the chocolate off the stove, as you can see here, and it is melting. Or, sorry, I took it off the double boiler. So you're going to set that aside because we won't need that for the moment. So I'm just going to set this aside. The next thing we are going to need is to beat our egg whites. Now, in this case, you can use either a pinch of cream of tartar, but I didn't have that on hand, so just a pinch of salt would work. So I'll add in a little bit of salt. And we're going to want to beat this to soft, like soft peaks, till you see tracks. We don't want it stiff and glossy. We're not looking for that for this point. I'll show you what you're looking for once we're there. You can see tracks in the bowl. That's what you want. So we've reached that point. Now, right here I've got the melted chocolate. It has cooled. So I'm just going to add, just to make sure that, just to be safe, I'm just going to add a little bit in. Just like so. Stop. And then just mix that in. Just briefly. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Sorry. Now once that's good, you can add the rest in. And I'm adding this chocolate into the egg yolks. And the reason we cool it is so that we don't scramble the eggs. Because if you do, then it's kind of gross. You're going to have curdled. Chocolate mousse is supposed to be nice and smooth, and it wouldn't be smooth that way. So I'm just mixing the egg yolks with the chocolate, as you can see right now. So I'm just going to fully incorporate it. Okay, so we have our mixture here. So now I'm going to be adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of peppermint extract. Now this is the part where you can get creative. You could use coffee extract, and or you could use, you can really mix it up. Like I'm also, you could do an orange extract, like that. You can really mix it up to the flavoring that you're going to want, because that extract is really going to go through. And make sure if you do use an extract, use a real one, because those imitation ones are just not great. They don't have a great taste, and of course they're not real, so how could they? Yeah, and another thing you can do, if you want a stronger chocolatey flavor, add about a tablespoon or so of cocoa powder. And or if you want a strong mocha coffee flavor, add a tablespoon, or not even a tablespoon, like maybe 2 teaspoons of coffee granules or instant espresso powder or something like that. You can really mix it up with this, so you're not set in stone for anything. So that's our chocolate mixture, and we got our egg whites. So now this is where we have to be a little careful. I'm going to put about, I don't know, maybe about a quarter of it in. So I'll take just a little bit. This is just to, you know, get it mingled in. And you want to do the fold action right here. You want to make sure that you're kind of folding it in so you don't deflate it too much. I mean, it's going to deflate a bit, you have to understand, because, I mean, it's just how it is with egg whites. But by folding it, I'm actually going to move to a larger spatula here to make things a little bit easier. When you fold it, just go up, down, side up, down, side up, down. So now I'm going to add in a little more. That's probably about half or so, a little more than half. Just keep folding it in. And I mean, you can't go wrong with this recipe. And it's so good, chocolate mousse. It's one of my favorites. The reason I like it, it's just got such a smooth texture and everything. That's one of the reasons why you really want to make sure that when you do add the chocolate in with the egg yolks, that it is at room temperature, or at least cooled to lukewarm, or like as cool as possible, because, and I'm just going to add the rest of the egg yolks right now. The reason why is because you won't get the smooth texture, and you could get cooked eggs, and you really don't want that. So we're just going to continue fold. So this does take a little bit of time, but you basically do this until it's smooth throughout. The egg whites are smooth throughout. Just keep doing that motion. You will get it. It just takes a little time. I'll show you what it looks like once we're there. So our mixture is now all blended together. So now the next part is putting them in a dish. Now you could do it in like, you could spread it out on a baking pan if you want, but I like to use these ramekins, or even better, I really like to put it in wine glasses. It really looks very nice, but because I actually have guests coming over tonight, I'm actually going to be putting it in ramekins, because I'm going to be putting this in the freezer to set, because one thing you got to keep in mind with chocolate mousse, it needs several hours to set in the fridge. You might be, like in my case, I'm trying to get away with 2.5 hours in the freezer, which will do the trick. What I'm going to do is, if you are tight for time, what I would recommend is you put all of them in the freezer for about an hour, and after that take it out and put it in the fridge. You want, because you still want that creamy flavor. We're just trying to get it to at least set very quickly. Once it has like kind of set a bit, then put it in the fridge until serving. So you just want it well combined, and this would be 5 to 7 servings. It really depends on how much you're giving. And so all you have to do is simply pour the mixture in, like so, as even as possible. You really want to make sure you get that chocolate at the bottom. Alright, so I have put all the mousses in each individual ramekins, and this is a good, like this is plenty for someone. I would say five to six is the approximate for this particular recipe you'll get out of. But as I mentioned, you can, if you're just putting it in the fridge, if you do want to use wine glasses, make sure you put it in the fridge. Do not put a wine glass in the freezer. That's not going to be a pretty sight. So what I'm going to do is put all of these in the freezer for 1 hour, probably not even that, 45 minutes, just so that it can just at least fast forward the beginning process of setting. Then I'll pop it in the fridge until I am ready, and that's going to be, it's right now close to 4 o'clock. I'm serving this at around 6:30, so in about 2.5 hours time, I'm going to be taking it out. So it will do the beginning setting in the freezer, and then I'm going to pop it in the fridge. But if you just want to put it in the fridge, I would recommend probably about at least 3 or 4 hours just to set. The longer you put it in the fridge, you're going to get a more spongy texture, so the earlier you serve it, the more creamy it will be. Anyway, so I'm going to put this in the freezer for a little bit, back in the fridge, and then I will show you what it looks like once it's done.